Good morning, wrestling fans. July 10th, 2024. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. I am Lance Brock, and welcome to the Wednesday episode of Good Morning, Wrestling Fans. Tonight, AEW Dynamite, the finals of the 2024 Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament, and I will definitely preview tonight's AEW Dynamite. But before I get into Dynamite tonight, I just want to go over real quick about last night's episode of WWE NXT, which probably the most notable things to come from last night's episode of NXT. Just go over real quick, in my opinion anyway. We had a reunion of the Rascals, Wesley about to go away, and then we see his former tag team partners in TNA, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. Wentz, of course, had spent some time in NXT not really too long ago before returning to TNA. And apparently now we are going to get a Rascals run in NXT. And then in the main event of NXT last night, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry showing up to be the tag team partner of NXT champion Trick Williams. And the way Vic Joseph talked on commentary last night is that this is something we could possibly see on a regular basis. Joe Hendry and Trick Williams teaming up together. I already started thinking, actually, coming up on July 20th, Joe Hendry is in the main event, the six-way match for the TNA World Championship. What I was thinking is, could we possibly see Joe Hendry win this six-way match, become the new TNA World Champion, and then possibly on a future show, whether it's NXT, PLE, or one of the specials on TNA Plus, or maybe even save it for TNA's biggest pay-per-view of the year, Bound for Glory, in October, a match where it is the TNA World Champion taking on the NXT Champion. Maybe with only one of the titles on the line. I really don't see them doing a title versus title match, but it is the world of pro wrestling. Never say never, so you never know. But as I have said here on the different podcasts before, is that so far I am definitely liking this working relationship so far between TNA and NXT, and who knows if maybe we could possibly see any TNA stars make an appearance when it on any main roster shows as well. But like I said, this working relationship definitely helps TNA more than WWE. But now let's get on to tonight. AEW Dynamite, featuring the finals of the Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament for both the men and the women's tournaments. live 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS. And tonight's big episode of Dynamite will be live from the Scotiabank Saddledome in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I had to get that pause in there, like when Lance Storm used to say Calgary back in the day. But like I said, it is live 8 p.m. Eastern tonight on TBS. And we will have the finals of both the men and the women's tournaments of the Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. On the men's side, it will be the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, taking on Hangman Adam Page. And not only that, but also the King of the Mountain, the Last Outlaw, someone who was very close to Owen Hart, will be the special enforcer for the match. And on the women's side, Willow Nightingale will be taking on Mariah May. I would definitely love to see Mariah May repeat 2 years in a row as the Women's Owen Hart Foundation Cup champion. But I'm sure Timeless Toni Storm could end up getting involved somehow. And I do have to admit that would be a good way to set up for All In for the AEW Women's World Championship. Toni Storm versus Mariah May, one-on-one, Wembley Stadium in Mariah May's home country of England. So that would definitely not surprise me if we do see that, even though personally I am rooting for Willow Nightingale. But like I always say, when in a match, sometimes who you want to win and who you think will actually win can be two different things. But I'm sure both tournament finals will be really good matches tonight, especially Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Adam Page. And for the first time since the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, we will see the AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland after his victory over Will Ospreay. And we will have a Stampede Street Fight, Samoa Joe taking on the FTW for the World Champion, Chris Jericho. I'm not sure if I have mentioned this on the podcast yet, but of course, Chris Jericho showing up at CMLL, making an appearance as Lionheart, his old stomping grounds in Mexico. And he did discuss that on last Friday's episode of Talk is Jericho. If you haven't heard that yet, give it a listen. But we have Jericho and Joe Stampede Street Fight. I'm not sure if it is for the FTW Championship or not, but I'm sure it'll be wild going through the crowd. And we will also have Claudio Castagnoli, Tomohiro Ishii, Kyle Fletcher, and Pac in a four-way. And the AEW TBS champion and the NJPW Strong Women's champion, Mercedes Moné, will have a victory toast. And we will also hear from the AEW International champion, the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. And that is everything we have in store for AEW Dynamite tonight, live from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Well, my first name is Lance Storm, or my first name is Lance, I should say. So I have to say it like Lance Storm would. 8 p.m. Eastern, live on TBS. I know it's tonight, but you can go in the comment section and leave your last minute predictions. Let me know who you think is going to win the men's and the women's Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. Also, let me know your thoughts about last night's episode of NXT, and what do you think of the relationship between NXT and WWE, or NXT and TNA so far. And that is all for this Wednesday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in and listening this morning. I will be back tomorrow morning for the Thursday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. And I hope you all will join me once again right here for GMWF. But until then, have a great pro wrestling day.